Go on. Ask me the
What is
question.
the first thing that ever happens to you in life? What's the first thing that ever happens to you? Let's say, okay, in life, that's a retrospective question, but when you come out of the womb, what's the first thing that happens? What do you see? What happens?
I mean, you get the cord cut and the
bright lights.
Yeah, like
bright
you don't
lights.
really.
You're looking up. There is some sort of figure looking down on you, and there's bright lights everywhere, and they are touching you and probing you. That is called birth. You were not on a spaceship.
That could be where people get the thing from. Yeah, like that could be the
lost memory. Yes, it's a long lost memory of you being born. You just can't really grasp it in your mind and really see it day by day. See exactly what happened because your brain's not smart enough to do that. So you start attaching it to other things. But yeah, that's the first thing that ever happens to you in life is you see you're overwhelmed by bright lights and these strange figures that are touching you, and you hear weird noises that you can't make out. That's called birth.
Yeah,
you were on a
I guess,
spaceship.
like I can see the argument for that being that, hey, that's actually what people are experiencing.
Like, I heard that somewhere on I had read that somewhere, and I was like, I never thought of that.
It kind of clicks. It rings true. Like, yeah, you think about it. There's so many people that are saying, I got abducted by an alien.
Things you've never heard before.
Yeah,
you're overwhelmed. You don't know what's happening. Mass confusion.
It could be a form of memory regression. I got abducted by aliens. No, you're just somehow remembering what happened when you were born.
Yeah, you have a somewhat figurative. Yeah, there's something in your brain that reminds you of birth, but you're just not intelligent enough to go. That your brain wasn't intelligent enough at the time to keep track of it.
Yeah, and maybe that is what it is. It's a dormant memory, and like you fall asleep and something happens, but you're so drunk that your brain triggers it.
I heard that
because we're using such a small percentage of our brain.
I pretty much believe that. Ever since then, I've been like, you didn't go on a spaceship, bro. I think you're just crazy, and you're remembering birth. That's how I look at it now anymore.
Or then at the same time, to play devil's advocate, it could actually happen. Like, you never know. You could legitimately have, like, legitimately have been abducted. Like, we don't know. But like, it's like we were saying before. We could literally be an experiment that is basically like a form of Big Brother, the intergalactic Big Brother. We could have been people that were placed on a planet. God knows how many years ago.
They're watching us go to war with each other. They're praying that Trump pushes the button because it'll be the best HBO special in space you've ever seen. It'll cost $19.99.
Humans at war.
Watch Trump and Putin fist fight. Yeah.
Yeah, get them mud wrestling.
Trump and Putin are about to fist fight. It costs $24.99 space dollars.
Right, like
it's gonna be the most popular thing ever.
It's the strangest shit. It's you just don't think about it until you sit there and have these kinds of discussions. You really just don't think about it. It's amazing, the world in general. Like we were saying, the people with the flat Earth theory. How? Like, when there's visible proof that the world is round. And I'm not talking about NASA's space photos, nothing like that. I just mean, like, in general, like, you can look at the world from a high point and you can see the curvature of the
flat,
Earth. Like,
bro, you ain't convincing me of nothing. There's one of them commie government people that are trying to force me to believe shit. The moon is a giant base. It's not a rock.
The moon is a hologram. The moon is a hologram and it's made of cheese. Like, you know, I don't understand people that can go like, when there's physical fact directly in front of you, there's visible truth. That
the Earth is flat thing. There's literally like probably 15 or 20 different arguments that completely like put it in the water.
Or the Earth is hollow.
Like I remember,
or something like that.
I remember seeing a video one time that said if the Earth was flat, the city of Seattle wouldn't exist. The only reason Seattle exists because of all those, all the hills they have to like accommodate for the curvature of the Earth. Like the city of Seattle wouldn't exist if the Earth was flat.
No, that makes sense. Like I completely understand that. Like it's the strangest thing. It's like
weird. It's a weird argument.
Like I don't understand when you have visible scientific fact in front of you. It's fact. It's not fiction. It's
that's
direct.
What it goes back to. It's them fact. Saying that it's just what it goes back to them not trusting science and saying that that's all just what the government wants us to believe type of thing. That's what it goes back to mostly. Is them just saying that's what they want you to believe, bro. Why does everybody believe that? It's kind of like it's made for people that always want to go against what's popular, that type of thing.
I love the fact that believe, I love the fact that a lot of flat earthers were like, hey, we're gonna get a hot air balloon and fund the hot air balloon trip to go up to see and prove that the world is flat and all that the curvature of the Earth thing is false. And they got up there and they saw the curvature of the Earth and they were like, Oh, it's just a perception thing. It's not really curved. It's just because you're up here in a hot air balloon, the altitude messes with your brain and you don't read it properly. I'm just like, dude, you have just seen it for yourself and you're still denying it. Like, what is wrong with you? You are visibly seeing the facts in front of you. It's right there. You can see the curve. You can see, like,
if the Earth is flat, how do time zones work with the sun? Like, for example, it is stand by. It is 7:42 here. I believe that China is 12 hours ahead of us. 12 hours ahead of me, at least. So it's 8 p.m. in China right now. So they're eating dinner and the sun's going down.
Exactly.
Or the sun's been down, I guess. It's 8 in the morning. I'm sorry, I'm losing my fucking mind.
It's nearly 2 p.m. Like, it's nearly 2 a.m. for me, and same thing. Like, it's pitch black outside.
So it's pitch black over there. Yeah, there's still sunlight here. Everyone's out mowing their lawns right now.
Oh, it's all right. The sun spins around the Earth. It doesn't.
Yeah, we got about 20 minutes left of sunlight. So if the Earth is flat, then we would all be in the same time zone because the sun would literally just be beaming down on this disk. We'd all have the same like heat temperature. Like, we wouldn't have nighttime.
Yeah. Oh no. But some flat earthers,
like anything else.
Some flat earthers describe that as, oh well, it's a case of the moon passes in front of the sun over the time frame, and that's how come it blocks out the sun, and it casts a shadow. I'm like, even at a distance, the moon would have to be fucking huge.
Doesn't that only happen like, doesn't that only happen like every like 10 years with the solar eclipse? Isn't that what that is?
Exactly.
But we just had one this past year. It was a big deal here.
You listen to a flat earther, then the eclipse isn't a thing. And there's another thing. How do you explain an eclipse if the Earth is flat? Like, how does that happen? Like, if the Earth is a disc, how does a thing happen?
The moon just decides to move in that one specific spot to get in front of the sun.
Exactly. Like, I do not understand people that can do. It's like we were saying before. There's a lot of shit that's like that though.
How the hell does gravity work? Is it a machine?
Oh yeah,
like, how does stuff orbit the planet? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean the solar like thing we have is that just flying above us?
You know what I think it is? It's a couple of guys on a treadmill that rotate every 20 minutes, and the friction caused by them doing that is what keeps everyone stuck to the ground. Just
the live footage of the solar flying around Earth in orbit. The live footage, bro. That's just a 4K video, bro.
Yep. It's not true. It's not real. It's a screensaver. That's all it is. Like, it goes back to what we were saying before, with you saying to Judge and that lot about, like, there's the opinion. There's always an opinion on something. Like, we was going back and saying about the whole, you're not a Nazi sympathizer or anything like that if you like their art of the certain things, or you read Mein Kampf doesn't make you a Nazi, or you read this, it doesn't make you that. It's all an opinion. It's all this, it's all that. I don't understand. I really don't. It's like when you're presented with a fact, you've got to see it as the fact. When you're presented as the fiction, you can see it however you want to, but it's down to you because it's your brain, your thought process.
Earth is flat, the sun is a ball of fire, it's gonna blow up one day and we're all already dead.
And you're gonna have Johnny Cash singing you to your death. That's because he's not dead. Johnny Cash isn't dead. You know, Johnny Cash is sitting there.
Hitler or Elvis, they're both alive.
Oh no, Elvis did die recently. If you go by the reports, Michael Jackson's not dead. He's actually had some really bad surgery to fuck his face up that makes him look like a fan that he used to know. Tupac and Biggie didn't die. They're actually just around releasing new music under different names.
Say Tupac's in Cuba, yeah.
You know, all this sort of shit. Like, I fucking love conspiracies though. Like, conspiracy theories are some of the best things. Like, you know, when we were saying that we was going to be doing a podcast special, right? That we were going to be talking like things like paranormal for episode 10 and that lot. I love talking paranormal in general, so I guess we could technically call this that one. I mean, this is totally unplanned. I only just hit the record button because we're having such a good conversation. Like, fuck. I
like reading about Zach Bagans.
Dude, Zach Bagans is amazing. I love those. Like, I love the Ghost Adventures guys.
Zach Bagans is they've changed. Zach Bagans is an image now. If you look at him, he's an image.
It's weird because
he is the bad boy, tough, handsome ghost fighter that's not like he's an image now. He has a persona now. He has an image. It's not the same.
I have noticed that with those guys, like everything that tends to happen these days is everything is demonic that they go up against. Everything. It's like,
yeah, like it doesn't feel the same as whenever the show first came around and they were just
like they were scared.
You know, like Zach,
they were so scared
like
to start
really
with.
yeah, now he's just like he'll walk into a building and be like, bro, it's probably some sort of demon or something. I'm just gonna take my shirt off.
Me. It's another demon. Yeah, it's literally everything's a demon now. It's like the guys apparently
he's got an image.
The guy's apparently
I love him to death. He's hilarious. I love him. He's awesome. But yeah, he's got an image now.
It's kind of like Ghost Adventures was originally one of those things that you sit there believe a long time ago. Like I loved
Ghost Adventures as a kid.
I love like
it was the only ghost show I could watch. I couldn't watch like Ghost Hunter. I didn't like them. When I watched Ghost Adventures, I liked it. I liked their production. I liked Zach. I liked the team, like Nick and Aaron. I liked all of them guys. They were cool. I liked them.
Agreed. Like they are really good.
Only paranormal show I could really watch. Yeah, it was the only one I really actually enjoyed watching.
Like I would happily sit there and watch them no matter what. I still do. Like I'll wait for people to upload the episodes to YouTube after it happens, and I'll sit there and watch it.
I haven't watched. I think I'm way behind on as far as new episodes. I'm seasons behind, but I love the show.
Like the good thing is though, you can pick it up at any point, and it's not really like you've missed like 6,000 things. It's like
I think it might be on Hulu somewhere. I need to go watch it and catch up. But I saw like all the original, like I was watching it, back in the day when it first came out in the late 2000s, early 2000 teens or whatever. Love Zach Bagans.
Zach and the guys are like the only believable people out there, because like I love the stuff that they do. Like I love the technological advancements that they make. I love the changes.
Their equipment's awesome.
Like the fact that they're constantly trying to disprove everything, like they debunk things as much as possible. It's like, was that a spirit or was that you moving? Oh, that was you moving. Okay, debunked.
I was watching a thing about it the other day. It was like one of their original, like the first ever, like before there was a show, they had like a movie or something or a documentary they did.
Yeah.
Before the TV show conspired. And there was a guy that was a known ghost hunter that they had with him or whatever. And he had a scene where he was by himself and his
I know where you're going with this.
You remember the tape recorder flew out of his hand or whatever?
And he actually threw it out himself, yeah.
Later on, Zach came on and he said, we have 100% debunked that was not done by a paranormal entity and we had nothing to do with it. He was honest about it.
I watched it. I sat there and I watched that clip and I've seen it happen. You just see the guy, like
when they had
it's so obvious that the guy froze it.
With like a orb flying out and they were like, we've looked at it, we've tested it, it can't be a bug, it can't be a light. If they hear something, it's like, what was that noise? And Aaron will be like, oh, it was me. All right,
there you go.
Cool.
To your point again, like how much it's changed. Like in the first seasons, they used to show at the end them going through the footage going, oh, can we look at that? Can we listen to that EVP back? All this sort of thing. And now it's just, they kind of cut it right at the end of the investigation as the credits are running. And it's like, where's the analysis gone? Where's all this other stuff gone? Like
Aaron would be like, it sounds like he's saying, I'm, like, kill them or something. Be like, no, listen again. Zach will be like, hang on. And they'll decipher it.
But like Zach, and these days it's
they used to look at footage and be like, we're debunking this. That's a moth right there. Debunk. Yeah. And they tell you debunked. That's not an orb. That's a moth.
Yeah, these days they'll be like, listen to this EVP. It sounds like somebody's saying run away.
I think the image and in your head, the Discovery Channel got to him, the money and the contracts a little bit.
Like the fact that in your head someone's already told you what it sounds like, that's what you're hearing. So like I don't look at the screen, and when they say we've got an EVP coming up, I mute it for a split second when I know that they say this was going to be.
Yeah,
and then I just kind of like I clear my head and I listen to it, and there's times when they've gone, Zach, run, and I'm like, no, he said something different. It's completely different.
Yeah.
But those things are open to interpretation. Like, the spirit box, they've been caught out with that thing a few times. Apparently there's been a couple of times where they've said stuff and it's come through the spirit box because they've manipulated it. But it's not a difficult thing to do because all it does is run on radio waves. It literally, if you put like an old FM radio on skip, like buy a digital radio, press the channel skip button, hold it, and just let it skip through radio frequencies. That's all it does. That's all it is. And if you, I'll say, if you believe, you may be skeptical, you may not, but if you believe, the spirits can use that energy to speak through it.
Oh, you mean whenever like you'd hear like a little word, you'd hear like a certain word come through.
Yeah, because it's like
those are cool.
But then at the same time, you
At the
think about
same
it.
time, I was like, that could also be chance. Yeah, it could just be chance.
Yeah, because you're running for a radio wave. You're running through radios, and you'll go through a
Yeah.
radio station, and you might hear
They
tomorrow.
manipulate. They say that that's actually happening, and they manipulate it. Yeah, to use it to speak. Like it could also still be chance. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you could just be picking up a random radio signal from the local news station going alive, and they take that as fact. Like there's a guy on that real quick. There's a guy on YouTube that's called Huff Paranormal. He actually got caught out as being fake a lot. This guy did quote unquote death interviews with Robin Williams after he passed, with what's his name, XXX Ted. I can never say his name properly. Ted.
Is it the bald guy with a Ouija board?
He's bald, has a mustache, and he has what he calls his it's like a spirit box, but it's not. It's like a it's basically like
so I've seen that channel before. I've seen that channel before.
He's
I
got
don't like that guy. I don't think
he's got an amp.
Legit.
No, I don't, because he's been caught out as there's been voices that have come through of celebs that have passed, and it actually turns out that what he's quote unquote heard and messages he's received were actually just what's it called? Were actually just like clips from movies or something like that, slowed down and given like an ethereal effect to sound.
Yeah, I always thought
like
that was weird. I'm like, that's just weird.
Like,
why does it always have to be a celebrity? Like, you know how many ghosts there are in the world? What's the odds that you're going to get connected to Robin Williams out of the trillions of people that have died?
The thing is, if you subscribe to this guy's Patreon, he'll conduct a reading in his home on his own and film it of him getting in contact with one of your past family, past members of the family, and doing having a discussion with them, and he'll film it and he'll send it to you using his box, and all his box is his box is technically just an amplifier with a couple of crystals glued on it, some copper wiring which is quote unquote conductive, and an aux cable going into an iPad, which you see him fiddling around with knobs and dials and stuff like that the whole time, quote unquote tuning it into the paranormal networks. But that's probably just him playing sound files and tweaking the way they sound. But people believe it. But then again, you could say that the we're also believing the stuff that we see on TV, because it's literally, it's a TV show. They got to do it for entertainment. But
hard to know what's fake and real anymore. That's what makes it hard.
Exactly. Unless you're watching a movie these days, because something that's real as hell looks fake as shit.
I think that Ghost Adventures had some fake stuff, but there's still, I don't know, it's just because if I like the show, it might just be my own ignorance, which I'm smart enough to to say that. I still like the show. I think it could have been real. I don't know. It could have been my own ignorance because I like it.
I want to believe that I want to believe that the guys are professional enough and real enough.
You know what I mean? I'd have to see it for myself. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. I'd have to experience it for myself to know.
Then again, I have experienced paranormal stuff. I've told you the story many a time. I've told the stream the story many a time. Like I've seen stuff. I've felt stuff. Like I've been around stuff. I believe
there is something, but I haven't experienced anything in my own life. But I believe there is.
When I was younger,
I believe there's more to life than what there is.
I want to believe there's life after death. I want to believe that something happens.
There's some sort of energy. There's some sort of spiritual. Yeah, there's something. There's something around us.
I was gonna say, I've seen it happen. I've seen something. Like when I was younger, when my granddad was living in the middle of the country, my sister saw a young chimney sweep boy at the end of our bed in Victorian gear, and she was sleeping on the top bunk of a bunk bed. How the fuck is there a chimney sweep boy at the end of a top bunk bed looking at her smiling? And then a year later, when my sister's not there and I'm sleeping on the top bunk, I see the exact same kid, except he's got glowing red eyes and he shoots directly at me. That's not my imagination. I am awake and I am lucid, but he's not happy. Like, you see the same thing, but in a different way. It's either my mind playing tricks on me, or I saw something. And I've experienced a lot more from that. Like, since then, I've experienced a hell of a lot. You know, I've seen things move when they shouldn't. But that could be a gust of wind if you want to try to debunk it. But then it's a fucking heavy thing. So how does a cup throw itself off of a shelf?
You never know. So I'm saying you never know unless you know.
Exactly. Until there is a way that we can 100% officially confirm or deny that there is life after death, there's nothing we could do. Like, you know, the EVPs that you hear on voice recorders.
You don't know, I mean, something you don't know until you know. You don't know until you're dead.
Exactly. And then you can't come back and tell no one. Exactly. Or you can try and tell someone, but they won't believe you.
It's like it's like the Coca-Cola recipe. It's the world's best kept secret. It's like, you don't know until you're here.
Exactly.
You don't know until you're here, bud.
It's like KFC.
Welcome to the show, and you're like, oh my God, I got to tell my friends. And they all just look at you and smile.
Right.
Like, you're so ignorant. You just died. You're not going to tell anybody.
It's like,
you just get to enjoy it.
Dude, I was trying to tell you for 6 years before you died. And
right.
Nothing.
Remember that one time when your door slammed hard? Yeah.
That was me.
I was trying to tell you not to eat those Doritos, man. They make you fat. Look what happened. You died from diabetes.
There you go.
I tried to tell you.
I tried to tell you, brother.
You could have smacked me in the face. Yeah, you could have smacked him out of my hand or something, jerk. That would have been too obvious.
Exactly.
Where's the fun? It would have been too obvious. You would have known.
Exactly. But it's yeah, you can't prove it until you see it. That's the thing.
The one thing that used to freak me out that I had read about a bunch like a year or two ago was stories of black-eyed children. That used to freak me out a little bit.
Go on.
Like the stories of people that, you know, like would be like get a knock on their door and be like a little kid just there, pale skin, and they'd ask you like to come inside, or they'd ask you to use your phone or something like that. And at some point you'd notice their eyes are just pure black. There's just nothing there. And there's so many accounts of it and like stories about it.
Yeah, that's kind of
people
creepy.
Experiencing it and telling people about it and then disappearing and never being, you know, like getting sick all of a sudden. Like kind of goes, it's kind of on the same realm as like they've been compared to like a vampire almost, in a way of like, you know, they can't do anything to you unless, you know, you invite them into your home. You let them into your life. You open your car door and you give them a ride home, or you let them use your phone. Yeah, you invite them in, and then people would get to say, like, you know, a year down the line, they'd die from a random disease. All of a sudden, they'd fall ill and just die.
It's like the entity's just like a parasitic entity, if you want to go in that respect.
Never saw it again. Yeah.
If like you don't invite them in, they can't do anything.
Stories about it.
That is an interesting thing.
I'm like, that's pretty. It's really go look it up. It's really, really interesting to see and hear about. And the thought of it, just, you know, if I open my door and there's a little kid standing there, can I come in and use your phone? No. My heart's gonna be like, yeah, bro, I got you. Like, did you lose your mom? And then yeah, you're gonna look into his eyes, and there's accounts of whenever people did look into their eyes, you know, and that the kid, you know, whatever it is, knew that they knew, you know, like, you know, the look on your face when you realize, what the hell, like your eyes are just darkness, that they would get angered. They'd get enraged and trying to push harder. Come on, man, let me in. Start knocking on the door harder. Come on, bro. Hey, let me in. Why are you being mean? I'm cold,
and then
you know?
and then it fucks you up even more because you don't know whether you want to go out there and do something about it, or I know exactly what you mean. Like, it's crazy. Like,
I used to sit here and read about it, and I was like, that's pretty trippy, dude.
Right?
You won't, and you'll never know. You don't. It could be fake for all I know. You won't know until you know. And
it could literally just be someone pulling a prank. But then again, at the same time, it could be a legit thing.
I think it's just I think it's some sort of folklore, but at the same time, like I said, you don't know until you know. For all I know, it could be fake. It could just be folklore and, you know, lodge tales, but you don't know until you know.
See, now that's something I love as well. I love a lot of folk tales, like some of the folk stories that you get
about vampires.
Just right, the vampire culture in general is just amazing.
I love it. It's so interesting to me, and people live it too in this modern day and age.
Like, and that's the thing.
Crazy. It's kind of weird, but it's cool.
It's human race, though, isn't it?
I respect their weirdness.
That's the human race. We've got
a box.
Right, but it goes again. It's another thing. It goes back to something we were talking about before. It's like there's so many different cultures in life. It's impossible to like put yourself into one thing or another. You can't really put yourself in a box anymore. Like, life is complicated now. It's not as simple as it used to be, where you could just sit down and be like, well, this is life. I get up, I go to work.
That wears all black clothing, has long teeth, and decides to drink people's blood, not by force, but people that also weird people that voluntarily donate their blood to those kinds of people. People voluntarily do that, and I'm like, okay, you're kind of the really weird one, honestly.
The same as the people that voluntarily like, oh well, there's a cannibal that wants to eat some human flesh. Sure, I'll let you cut a chunk out of my leg so you can eat it. Why not?
Hey man, you want to hang out Tuesday night? Nah, I can't help you. I gotta go over to Lord Daniel's house. He needs a fix.
Yeah, I
I'm
just
giving
gotta,
him I'm giving him a quarter.
I'm just gonna give him like a toe, just to, you know, just to
I'm just gonna give him a little
tide him over.
tasty poo.
You know, just
$5 a
like,
liter.
you know, I tell you what, I'm gonna sell my foot on eBay tonight to anyone who wants to eat it. Like, if you want to eat my foot, then
Yeah,
go
man.
buy it.
The dark web, yeah, they'll be all
Right?
over it.
Dude, the deep web stories, the dark web stories that are out there.
Oh, dude, I could go on about that for an hour.
Do it.
Ever. I mean, I was being sarcastic, but there's a lot. There's a lot there. It's really
There's
creepy
so
stories.
much out there. Like, the fact that you can buy drugs on the deep web, you can buy different types of adult content that you don't want to be involved in. You can sit there and watch anything on the deep web. Like, you can buy guns, drugs. There's live snuff films going on as we speak. Yeah, like, you can literally watch someone get tortured.
Yeah. Go in there and they will torture people and kill people live
at your control, like at your request. It's like, how's the human race become so sick to do that sort of thing? Like what was the turning point where we went from people that didn't give a shit about violence and all that kind of thing to, I'm gonna go online, I'm gonna create a secret version of the internet where I am gonna make it possible for you to watch me torture somebody to death for your own amusement.
It's natural. It sounds crazy, but that's natural.
I think we all do have a little bit of morbidness in us in that respect.
For the same reason that people used to watch gladiators, like that's why I say that's why people watch sports now. It's the same thing. You go there to watch people, hit each other and run around, and it's not the same hack and slash, killing each other. We watch UFC. We watch dudes beat each other to a pulp. We watch action movies. We like to watch dudes shoot each other. It's just our human nature. We're still cavemen. We still like to watch people fight, and
there is a base instinct in the human race that will always be like that. There's not going to be a day.
We're still tribal.
Yeah, there's not going to be a day where we're going to be able to sit there and go, no, we're not going to.
No, I think it's weird that people would want to sit in a lobby and watch someone get murdered at their leisure. Yes, it's very in this modern day. That's very weird. And yes, it's illegal, but it's weird. But at the same time, I just gotta sit here and say it's natural. I mean, I'm not surprised that it happens. It's surprising for people to hear that and be like, that really goes on still. Like, yeah, all the time. You can buy like people in sex trafficking on the internet. They do like those things you see in the movies and the games where like they do the auction thingy, like the auction style for people. They do, that's legit, that's real. They do
and you never think about it because it's just a TV show or it's just a movie or it's just a game. It's like, oh, where did they get the idea of this?
Yeah.
Where did they come up with this idea? That's such an amazing thing. Oh, that's such a great concept. No, they've done research. They've looked into that shit. There's someone who's even exactly. Human trafficking is a thing. Like it's the same as
forever. Yeah.
Just think about it. Prostitution, oldest profession in the world, and it's still illegal to this day. A natural base human instinct of having sex. That's like sex is the most base human instinct. Right?
I don't think it's right, but I think it should be legal.
But the thing is, right, in a way, right, you think about it, all you're doing is you're paying somebody for a service. If you want to put it in its most base...
I kind of like the idea of a brothel instead of like just picking somebody up on the corner and going to a dark alley. I kind of like the idea of a brothel better.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't want to pick up some random person on the street and hope that they're not riddled with something.
I mean, that's basically, that's really what it is all about. You know what I mean? But like if it's in a controlled and safe environment, and there's that's the dumpster batch. There's ones that you'll pick up on the corner that'll cost you $50, and then there's the top tier models that'll take your credit card if that's all you have. If that's the way you want to pay is on credit card, it'll cost you a couple grand. It's real.
Exactly. Plus, there's websites out there where you can hire an escort that will come to your door and treat you like they're your girlfriend and all that sort of shit as well. It's like,
yeah, dude, $100.
It's such a base human instinct that needing to be with someone physically is something that's never going to change. The fact that there's so many countries in the world that are trying to ban porn. There you go. That's where I was going. They're trying to ban porn because it's dirty, it's disgusting, it's not natural, it's not human. They're scared. It's old people are scared of the internet.
They can't tax it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same reason
why. It's free. They can't tax it. It's everywhere. Same thing with prostitution. They can't tax it.
But then there's paid for porn sites. There's paid for porn sites, and they can just put a tax on that. Like if you really want to do it, right? Pornhub has Pornhub Premium, right? Anyone,
Sure.
anyone that's ever been on that website knows.
It's also, but that also goes back to it being a private business. Like, you don't pay taxes on your Netflix subscription, for example. They can't do that to a private business. I don't think that's what it goes back to.
If you live in the UK, you still have to pay a TV license just to be able to watch Netflix, and Netflix has nothing to do with TV. Like, the thing that I hate in the UK is that we have to pay a TV license to be able to own a TV. So like, we own the TV, we go to the store, we pay our money to take our TV away. You would think that from that point on, what I do with my TV is my own problem. No, I then have to go online or call up a number or whatever, and I have to tell them I own a TV, I wish to pay for my license, please, to be able to watch TV. And the thing is, the only company that affects is the BBC, because the BBC is the first ever TV station over here. The money from the TV license goes to pay wages, it goes to pay
they probably employ a lot of people.
They do, but the thing is,
probably be a good thing at the end of the day, but still, I understand.
It's a taxpayers funded thing, and a lot of people are saying, well, how's about, instead of it being taxpayers, make the government pay for it. Government pays for the BBC, so we don't have to pay a TV license anymore, and we can not have like ideally, right? Ideally, I would love to do it so that I don't have, like, I don't watch TV, right? I don't watch TV anymore. I'll watch Netflix, I'll watch Twitch, I'll watch YouTube. That's my three forms of entertainment. I'll watch Amazon Prime. I still have to have a TV license to do that, because I'm watching digital content. I think it's like £12 a month, or you can pay like a one-off payment of over $100 a year.
So you basically have to pay to use the TV.
Yeah,
that you've bought. That's basically what it is.
It's if I don't have that license, I'm watching TV illegally.
A monthly fee. Yeah, you're basically paying a monthly fee to use your TV. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's like I'm paying a subscription fee just to be able to watch my TV.
You can do, I mean, if you don't want to have a cable subscription or have Netflix or Hulu, you can go buy a Roku at Best Buy for $30, and they have a bunch of free channels on there. So it's like, the moment you buy your TV here, you're ready to rock and roll.
Like,
get something that you can use to use it, and you're good.
I completely and utterly understand the logic behind it, right? Because when the BBC first came out, it was the only TV company. To this day, it's the longest running TV company as far as TV goes, right? They were the first ever ones. And
it's still kind of monopoly.
It's an institution. But the fact that the money that goes from the TV license pays for the TV shows, the people, production, all that sort of stuff, brings us new shows. Yes, I understand that. But every other company out there that makes TV, every other channel is a commercial channel. And they run just fine. We're only paying for BBC services on that. We're paying for the BBC radio, we're paying for BBC TV. Literally, those are the services.
That's weird.
But we have to pay it to watch those other channels. So a lot of people are saying there's a few things the BBC could do, right? Exactly. If people are saying there's a couple of things that the BBC could do, then, well, why don't you either commercialize, so the commercials will pay for the stuff, because it works so well for all the other channels. Good idea.
Yes.
If they don't want to throw adverts during the middle of their programs, just have an extended ad break between, because that's the thing. See, because they're trying to find the loopholes around people that don't watch TV live anymore. Because originally, that's what it constituted. Like, you're paying a TV license to watch live programming, but then Netflix and subscription services came out, and that was the loophole around it. Now they're trying to close that loophole.
Man. Can we talk about that? Have you heard about like those services? Like, they're taking the Office off Netflix in 2021. Because they're going to start an NBC streaming service. I was like, here it is right here. That there is literally, that's the death of Netflix. All that's going to be on Netflix now is original content. All that Who's going to have is original content. Every channel-based, show, like A&E owns Duck Dynasty and Dog the Bounty Hunter, for example. This company, CBS owns this show and this show. They're all going to start their own streaming service. We're screwed. Like, that CBS one move right there, I'm like, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm like, that's it right there. Every network is going to have their own subscription service now, and if you go to Netflix, it's just going to be for the original content and whatever movies they can get, which they might not even get movies. Paramount one day might say, we want.
Well, Disney are taking all that stuff because Disney are doing their own version.
I was going to say, Disney. Yep.
Like, the BBC has a subscription sign up thing, and people are like, well,
Viacom's probably going to do it.
Exactly. See, people like, if the BBC's so worried,
all their shows.
The BBC's like, if they're so worried about it, well, why don't you just make make the BBC channel subscription? Because you've got BBC iPlayer, why not just make it subscription like everyone else? If you want to watch Doctor Who, just pay for BBC iPlayer every every month. Do
Right.
that. Just make the BBC a subscription service. Don't have to pay the TV license. The fact that
Right.
the BBC, this is the biggest
Crazy.
thing over here. If you're in the UK in the minute, one of the biggest controversies in the UK as far as the TV license goes, thousands of pensioners very soon are going to have to start paying the TV license, because once you hit a certain age, your TV license is free. I think it's like if you hit
When's
65.
that?
I think it's when you hit 65.
Oh
I'm
my
not,
god, that's weird.
like, when you hit 65, retirement age, your BBC license, your TV license is free. Not for long. They want to cut that. So your TV license is soon going to be paid for. So you're 60 something, you know, retirement age over here is now like 65 or something. So, you know, you've worked your life, or you've done everything you can to get by in life. You've paid your TV license, you've paid your taxes, you've paid everything. You're struggling by on your state pension or your work pension because everything's getting more expensive, but the costs go up, but your payment still stays the same or gets worse if the government feel that they need an extra moat around their building, or they need to buy a new duck pond, or they need to go on another trip for no reason, but the taxpayers have to pay for it. And then your money gets dropped, but everything still stays the same, and everything starts going more expensive. You now have to factor in your heating bill in the winter when it's freezing cold. You have to factor in your shopping. You have to pay for everything, and you've still got to pay a license for the TV to watch. And the thing is, for a lot of the older generation, the TV is their only outlet. Like, there's a lot of people that I know that have grandparents that don't leave the house, and all they do is either listen to the radio on a daily basis or they watch the TV on a daily basis, and that's their way of coping. That's their friendships. Everything that they watch on TV, that's their socializing. Like, the fact that a lot of them are going to have that taken away from them because of having to pay for the TV license, they'll have to sit there and go, can I afford to pay my TV license this month? Yes or no? If I can, can I afford to go do my shopping this week? And then that's it, because some elderly people can't even afford to pay their heating bill in the winter, and people are dying because of that. And yet now they got to put a TV license on it, and it's just I don't understand it. It's the
solution.
human race. It's money grabbing. It's
America. Yeah, it's true.
But then in a way, you guys technically pay the equivalent, don't you? But it's not called a TV license. You pay something along those lines. Do you not pay like a tax for it or anything like that?
No, you buy the TV. I mean, you pay taxes on the TV that you like. Whenever you buy it, you pay taxes, like just the sales tax.
That's it. No like monthly thing to watch it.
Yeah,
that's it.
no.
Once you buy it, it's yours.
No. Yeah, you come home, plug it in, and then if you have you put on there whatever you have. If you have Netflix, or if you want cable, then you pay your cable fee. That's it. You buy it, you're done. It's yours. We don't have a fee of any kind.
See, like,
you buy it, you come home, you hook up your Xbox to it, you sign into your Netflix account, you're good. As long as you pay for your Netflix, you pay for your internet, and you're live, whatever, you're good. That's it.
See, I always liken
as long
it
as the
to
TV has power.
I liken it to what's it called? I liken it to rent, having a car. You buy a car, you never fully own that shit. You may own it because you've paid for it, but you're always paying insurance. You're always paying license. You're always paying this. You're always paying for something. Like, you never own it. Like, same as if you buy a house. If you don't buy that house outright, you got to pay a mortgage. You don't outright own that house. Like, you rent in a place to live it. Like, you rent to live in a place. You can't sit there and just say, okay, look, I live here. I own this place. I own this thing. This is mine. I don't ever have to pay a single penny on it anymore. Because it's human. Like, I've always said, in this day and age, by 2020, we should be able to sit there and go, we are humans. We don't have homeless problems because everybody can live in a house. We all deserve to live in a house by now. We shouldn't have homelessness. We shouldn't have people going hungry.
Yeah,
we shouldn't have all of this stuff.
Just America, just this country alone has enough food to feed everyone on the planet, and people still starve. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of sickening. Like, just there's a million countries, and just ours can feed everyone, and we don't.
Exactly.
We don't come together to do it. I'm like, wow.
It's a simple case that, like, we need something to change. Like, and there's so many people saying this. We need to change something.
We have the technology, and we are advanced enough. There should not be homeless people. There should not be hungry people. People should not be drinking dirty water that's full of poop. Like we are.
I'll give you a
controversial.
controversial.
We put a man on the moon. People shouldn't be hungry.
This goes back to the conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
we apparently did.
That's
it's
what I
either that or it was really well staged.
I'm just another communist believer.
Right? It was either that or it was really well staged. But all right, here's a theory. Here's a practice for you to stop homelessness. Everyone who owns multiple houses has to give them up. Choose which one you want. That's it. You can own 2 houses maximum. Every human on this planet can own a maximum of 2 homes. You don't need anything more than that. Because literally right now where I live, there's new buildings going up, right? I wake up every morning and there's a new block. Like at least once a month there's a new block outside my window now, right? I live in London. Everyone's always wanting to build up. There's no such thing as building out. It's always building up, right?
Yeah, that's just city life. Yeah.
And I used to have a beautiful view of the city out of my bedroom window, like out of the room I'm in right now. Now all I can see is other people living in front of me. And I can look out that window and 90% of that building's filled, which is a good thing. But then there's a massive tower block behind it. And I'd say 5% of that thing's filled. Why? Because the rest of them are privately owned and no one lives there 90% of the time. There's a building that got refurbished 10 years ago. Went from being a council property, so like where anyone and everyone can live if they have the money to pay the rent, to privately owned. 90% of that building is constantly empty. There's new buildings going up opposite the front of my building. It's going to be a whole new thing. It's going to be a whole new estate. It's going to be a whole new structure. There's going to be multiple tower blocks. There's going to be beautiful areas. They're going to be opening up the canal that's running underneath it so that everyone can go through it. There's going to be shops. There's going to be community spaces, all that sort of thing, right? They broke down an old industrial estate for it where I used to work. And guess what? Not a single one of them is going to be public rentable. It's going to be privately owned, privately rented. Every single one of them.
That's how it goes, man. That's business.
And the biggest problem is 90% of those places are going to be empty, and just 2 minutes down the road, you've got a fucking homeless shelter that's overflowing with people that need a roof over their head. We should not be living in a day and age where someone cannot live in a house. Like, there is many a space for someone to live. There's so many abandoned or open properties that someone can live in. And I'm sure it's the same way you are, because like big cities will have it. Big cities will have multiple buildings that have like 20-30% of the block that's not open because somebody privately owns it, but they're only there like a month out of the year. Well, fuck you. You're giving it up. Like, I'm sure where you are, you've probably got like multiple houses that everyone lives in.
Where does the line fall there where that's fair?
Is it fair that you own like 60 houses and you only stay in one for a week out of the year? And someone's going and living out on the street?
That's true, but where does it make it just as right to give this guy a home, but you're taking someone's property? There's a line there. It's kind of a weird line.
Like, why do you need a place that you're never going to use?
Something you own. You've bought.
Yeah, but why do you need to own it if you're never going to use it? It's the same as if you go out, like, tomorrow you could go out and buy a car that you're never going to use.
Greed.
Exactly.
It's just human greed.
You could buy a car that you're never going to use, but why would you buy it if you don't want it?
That's just how, we're naturally greedy. If you have money, you're going to be greedy about it. That's just how we are.
It's like, I look around my room every day and I'm like, why did I buy that thing? I never use it. It just sits there. Shouldn't have bought it. Could have used something else. I wanted it at the time. Don't want it anymore.
That's just how we are. Yeah, but that's just how we are. It's natural.
I would like to think, right, and I know many people say this when they're poor, but I would like to think that if I ever had, or if I ever came into a substantial amount of money, I would buy a tower block, right? I would buy one of these semi-abandoned tower blocks. I go, right, how many houses are in this place that's open? 20? Okay, cool. I'll buy them all. Then get in touch with the local homeless shelter. Go, right, come in, modify them as needed. Make it so that there's 2 or 3 rooms, make it a big communal flat, so that's 20 communal spaces. Get 3 or 4 different people in there where you can have like 20 spaces living for people, and it's all a big communal space. Do your piece. Like, you're a human being, for fuck's sake. If you was out on the street, you would want someone to help you. You would hope that Johnny Passerby would help you somehow. You know, that they'd walk past you, and instead of chucking you some money going, oh, here, mate, I don't believe that you're actually homeless. You're probably going to go sell it. You know, you're probably going to go spend it on drugs or alcohol anyway.
There's a line there too. Yeah, because like, you don't know why someone's out like that. So there's a lot of lines with that I think is just hard. There's a lot of lines.
I think humans are just too jaded these days. Everyone's selfish these days.
It's hard for me to gain an opinion on it, yeah, because there's not a lot I can say about it. It's basically just greed overrides it all, and at the end of the day, someone's got to pay for it. And at the same time, yes, if you buy this 20 block, let's say you buy this place and you're allowing these homeless people to come in, then let's say a couple months down the line, you come back to check it out, and the whole place is just a giant trap house now. It's full of drug dealers and people getting high and shoving needles here and there.
That's where you set restrictions
and graffitiing it. Then what?
That's where you set
then
restrictions.
You're a tyrant. Now you own property. You're the same guy you were before.
You do it, but you have you don't set
a
restriction
make
as
it a private property. You're gonna kick them out. You're gonna say,
well, no, you do what any landlord.
You're pushing this crack. Get out.
You do what any landlord would do. You have a fair usage policy. You say, right, look, this place is open for you to use, to live, to be a human being. No one should be sleeping out on the street on a bench that's got spikes on it, stopping them from sitting there. Like, you're not allowed to sleep on this bench because you can't sleep on the floor. You can't sleep in this doorway because it's pissing down with rain. So live in this house. But you bring drugs into it, you get a 3 strikes you're out rule with everyone. Because you got to expect that people are going to do something. I 100% expect it to turn into a crackdown.
Yeah,
but I would like to do something to stop it.
So think about it like this. Just like the same way you'd say it is natural human greed that a guy would buy that and never use it and do something stupid like that. At the same time, it's natural human that, when those guys come in there, it's going to get graffitied. It's going to get torn up. It's going to get full of drugs. It's going to be full of, things, basically the undesirables.
That's the point where you say
it goes back to the same thing.
You sign a lease. You just say, look, when you are living here, you agree to these terms. If you break these terms, unfortunately, you have to leave. Like, you give them, like, you just say to them, look, I don't want you living on the street. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my own heart. This is me talking about, this is something that one of my friends has said to me. So I'm kind of like, I'm paraphrasing on this one. You are here because I want you to be here. I understand that you and your friends are drug addicts. I understand that you and your friends will probably make this place a wreck. I understand. But please treat it in the nicest possible way, because I am doing this to help. I'm doing this to stop this place from being destroyed. Like, I'm doing this so you're not sleeping on the street.
You're justifying why you're doing what you're doing, and at the same time, you know what's going to happen? In out in 1 year and out the other. Thanks, bro. No, bro, I appreciate it. God bless you so much for getting me out of here, bro. And dude, I'm so
exactly.
I'm so
I can see it happen.
God has turned a page in my book, and this is my chance to get my life back on track. 12 hours later, he's got a needle stuck in his arm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, don't tell them you can't do it. That's just
how humans are. That's just how we are. You can't fix it. It's not right, and it's not wrong. It's just how we are. It's just nature.
But then at the same time, you should also still be saying, like, we still go back to say it circles back to the same argument. It circles back to the same argument of why in this day and age in 2019 are people still living out on the streets? Why are councils moving them along? Because, oh, well, this guy doesn't have any money to live. He doesn't have any money to live in a house or anything like that. But, oh, apparently you can't sleep on this bench. So we're going to put spikes on it so that you can't sleep on it. You can't sleep in this doorway because you make the place look untidy. It's like
they do that. That's just more of a that's more of like a why we have to keep the floor clean at Walmart Kappa. For public image. Your store has to be clean. You want it to look shiny. All your employees are clean and they have their uniform on because it looks good. It gives an image. And if you have guys outside sleeping on a bench, then what do people think of this town? Man, this town's really going to shit, huh?
But it's social image.
It's not nothing new.
No, it's not. It's
been around since thousands of years ago in the old civilizations. You had guys that lived in gigantic towers that weighed 200 pounds because all they did all day was eat. Mm-hmm. And then you have the guys that were living out in the streets that were, and then you have guys that are in the streets that are, weigh 120 pounds and they're, stealing and doing what they got to do just to make ends meet. That's what happens.
No, I know exactly what you mean. It's just the way. It's humanity.
It's happened forever,
and unfortunately, humanity is.
I say it's just one of those things.
Humanity is broken.
It's ugly.
It's
ugly.
We said it before. Humanity is probably the worst thing in evolution. Like, we are the worst thing to happen. I think. Like, personally, I feel like evolution was broken when we crawled out the primordial ooze and got to where we are. Oh, sorry, when God put us on the planet.
I think that it's just a part of what evolution is, and I think it just has to happen. Just like the dinosaurs somehow started, they lived, they thrived, and then they ended. We are started, we're growing, we're thriving, and we will one day end. It's just that's what evolution is. Things will be good, things will get badder, and then things will end. When
I just
Mother
want
Nature
to.
sees us no longer having a use, then we're gone.
I think we overstayed our welcome a very long time ago, though. I mean, we've been here long enough. What are we doing? What
I
the
just
human race
think
is
that
stagnated right now. I think.
I think we're way overpopulated. I just think there's way too many people. I think we've grown. I think, you know what I mean, like I think our numbers have grown faster than our knowledge has grown. And our, you know, more than our mind, or more than our brain has evolved. I think we've, you know, I think we've sprouted more than our brains have evolved. I think our brains should have evolved a little bit more before we had billions and billions of people.
When you think about it, there's people out there that are pumping out 5, 10 kids in their
That's what I'm
lifetime,
saying, because
if not more.
we're still cavemen, you know.
We really are.
We're
Like
not,
it's
we're
still the
not
selfish
lab
me.
coats, and yeah, we're not lab coats in science. We're cavemen. We're glorified cavemen.
We're still
We're tribal.
racist. We're still bigot.
We like,
You know,
we like
we're
to
still.
eat. We like to sleep. We like to have babies, and we like
It's
to,
me,
you know.
myself, and I. That's the current generation. The generation that's
How it
coming
is.
up now. I feel bad for the current generation. It's me, myself, and I. It's all I care about is me. Am I going to get money? Yes. Am I going to get money? No. Okay, fine. I'm just going to go steal it from someone else. Am I working a good job? No. Am I getting high all the time because I've stole someone's stuff and sold it for myself? Yeah, fine, whatever. You know, it's care about no
Way the
one
universe turns,
other than
man.
yourself.
It's
And
not right. It's not wrong. It's just the way it is. Just got to roll with the punches.
I hate that mentality in a lot of ways. Like, I understand it, but I hate it. But it's the only way to get through.
You can't change it. You just have to accept that it's there, and you have to know that when you're dead, none of the stuff that you've said or done is gonna matter. And so in 100 years, you know, things will change. So you just have to know that
I mean, dude,
living
us
for
doing
today.
this right now. This means nothing.
Like, I know there's tons of people out there that have low IQs and have nothing, and I'm like, I know where I'm at. I know where I sit. So I'm happy.
I mean, you think about
when
it.
I die in 50 years, no one's gonna remember us. It's over. Yeah, this whole thing we're doing here, it's nothing in the fabric of space and time. This is a speck of dust.
Me and you doing this podcast right now, which was completely and utterly unplanned, which I think is probably going to be the best one of all of them. It's a bunch of zeros and ones that someone's going to listen to, maybe, possibly. I can probably expect that to be a message from deloading at the bottom of this. Hey, Delo. Good podcast as always, but that's it.
Right, yeah.
Like
think about all the things you do in your life, you know, big and small things that you do in your everyday life. If you put that in perspective of the entire universe, we are nothing but a cough. We're a cough. We're a sneeze. And you know what I mean? Like, you know, like think about how often you cough, how often you sneeze. It's just nothing. It just happens. You don't think about it. You know what I mean? It's nothing about the big picture in your life. You know what I mean? That's what we are. We're just a sneeze to the universe. We're just a cough. Speck of dust.
No, I completely agree.
That's why I always hold on to that idea. I'm like, you know, we're not supposed to like it. I think that's how else what I could tell myself. You're not, if I liked the younger generation's music, if I liked the way they acted and I liked the way they treated each other and I liked the way things were going, then something would be wrong. We have to not like it. We have to hate it for things to change, because our parents before us and our grandparents, when they saw the hippies in the 60s, that was weird. You know, they were a bunch of rebellion kids that were just, you know what I mean? But how do we look at it now? It's like, oh, that was kind of a big deal, you know, for people. You know, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But to them at the time, it was just a waste of time. It was these younger kids these days listening to their rock and roll and smoking their reefer and popping acid and growing their hair out real long and, you know, wearing tie-dye, you know. But to us now, that was a big deal. If that hadn't happened, things would have been a lot different.
Yeah, I mean,
just just go with the punches, man.
Just imagine if World War II went the other way around. This would be completely different. We'd all be speaking German.
Yeah.
Like, which kind of branches off into a discussion that me and you have had once before, the parallel universes theory. You never know. There could be a parallel universe out there somewhere where Hitler did win.
Multiple versions. Yeah, multiple versions of every reality.
We could have an infinite number of parallel realities happening directly on top of us right this minute, doing the exact same things we're doing, but in multiple different ways. There could be, I don't know, a really talented version of me out there doing this exact same thing, and there's thousands of people listening to it every second.
So there's a Mr. J somewhere that has black on slate black with his Google prototype scopes, and he's screaming yeah into the microphone, getting dubs.
Right, I could be the original Dr. Disrespect. There could be a Dr. Disrespect out there struggling to stream to like 3 people for 5 years.
Has 5 viewers.
Like, you think about it, it's an amazing thing to think about. If you change your point of view for 5 minutes, and this is something, again, it's another thing. This is what made me want to hit record and do this. The discussions that we were having before this.
Try to tell you, this is a podcast to me. This is a podcast. It's not. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. We're moving to this segment and this segment. This is what a podcast is to me.
All right, sorry, I gotta go into that part real quick. Okay, here's the showman. Here's the presenter in me. If you guys are enjoying this version, then let me know in the comments. If you want to hear the more structured version, we'll go do that as well. Anyway,
there you go.
Like I like the idea of like taking a minute. Take your mind and twist it. Like, it sounds stupid. It sounds like I'm trying to do one of these motivational things. Take your mind and twist it. Imagine this, if you will. Sit there and look at something from someone else's point of view.
The smartest. Think about the smartest people in the world. That's what they did. They they put away what they initially were told and initially thought, and they did the opposite. Like that's
exactly.
That's what makes a smart person. You can look at things from every different perspective.
You need to see the other viewpoint. You need to sit there and go, look, okay, maybe that guy did have a point. Maybe that guy talking about Nazi paraphernalia wasn't actually a Nazi sympathizer. Like, I immediately went, oh my god, he's a bad guy. Maybe he was sitting there just going, their art style was kind of cool. Yes, they had extreme atrocities. Like, they came out with some of the worst things to happen in the world. Their political views in there.
History is just like that.
Yeah, like, we're conditioned to believe X because history tells us Y, so we believe Z. But what if you think that Z is actually A, and then you go to C, and then move on to Z again?
Yeah.
But you look at it in a different perspective.
Somebody famous that said that. They just said, question everything. Someone said that.
I know the everything
it's
is
not
weird.
important. I just know I've heard it. Is it George Carlin?
Yes, maybe. I don't know. See, Einstein was a great guy. Just saying. Like, but like, you think about life outside the box. Please, seriously, if you can ever do one thing in your life, think about things from the outside. Just look at it from someone else's perspective.
Be willing to listen.
Exactly. Like, sit there, listen, and don't just listen. Take it in.
Think about everything we've talked about here. There's 10 different perspectives on it, and we try to cover a little bit of everything. Maybe that is wrong. Like I said earlier, when I said how much I love Ghost Adventures, and I'm like, I'd imagine there's a good portion of it that's probably as fake. That's my logical sense. But like I said, I said I'm opinionated about it, and I love the show. It was my favorite one, and I'm still gonna say some of it was probably real, and I'm saying that's just my own ignorance. I'm smart enough to tell you that's my ignorance saying I just like Zach Bagans. I want Zach Bagans to be true. You know what I mean? I want Zach Bagans to be 100% legit.
I think Zach Bagans is man enough to tell you. Yeah, I think Zach Bagans is man enough that he would not want to bullshit about this. Like, he presented his case as being the real thing, and he comes across as extremely believable. If he is a really fucking good actor to do that, him and the rest of the guys, or
man.
He's legit.
I'm smart enough to tell you that that's probably not the right opinion because I like him so much. But at least I can tell you that.
Exactly. Like, Lemmy loved the whole war stuff. He loved Nazi war stuff. He loved American war stuff. He loved
war everything. Is so disgusting, but war is so awesome.
I think war is just the strangest mindset. Like, that's why I think human race is so broken.
The quote that war never changes is literally so accurate.
Mm-hmm. Fallout had it right when it came out with that. If you were the guy who wrote that line for Fallout, please give yourself a round of applause. Just
oh my gosh, yes. Whoever wrote it. What's the guy's name that said it? He's a real famous guy, isn't he?
You're asking
the guy that
me.
Says it.
It's like 3:30 and 2:30 in the morning. I have no idea. Like,
Google, hang on.
It's true though. War doesn't change. Like, it's always gonna be the same thing. It's over money. It's over oil. It's over power.
Yep. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Like, the war in Iraq, false flag attack on the Twin Towers, don't shoot me. That's some of the stuff that's been said. Some people say it was an inside job. Some people said that the reason why the building fell was because there was thermite on the structure. Some people say it was a true terrorist attack. Until we see it for itself.
Said that war never changes. Ulysses S. Grant.
There you go,
Ulysses S. Grant. If you don't know, yeah, he was the general, I believe, of the Southern Army in the Civil War. I think the general.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think he was general of the he was general of the Confederates, of the guys that were, in the South. And it says here Ulysses S. Grant, who was also a president, is quoted many times as saying, "I have never advocated war except for as means of peace. So seek peace, but prepare for war. War never changes. War is like winter, and winter is coming." That would have been from the...
That's why Game of Thrones would have got that from.
That would have been from the 1800s. Yeah. He says, yeah, war is like winter, and winter is coming. Mm. Is that literally what the line means in the show as well? Whenever he says winter's coming,
winter is coming was
that like no spoilers, no spoilers.
No. Winter is coming is basically like their seasons is winter is a very long thing. It's not just like a yearly thing.
Okay,
it's
so they have to
it's like
survive it. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I if I believe so. I've not seen a lot of the thing, but as far as I remember,
watch the show.
It's a very, very long period of time. Like winter can last 12 years, that sort of thing.
Okay,
so
that
it's
makes
not
sense.
like it's not a
it would make sense
XYZ
if it was
happens.
about war, because I know that show's about that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of would make sense to be honest.
Yeah, that's what he says.
There you go. War
Fight
never
for
changes,
peace, but prepare for war.
There you go.
It's coming.
The thing
whether we're in the trenches, whether we're fighting with swords and sticks, or we're fighting in the gladiator arena, whether we're in the trenches of Normandy, with gunk foot and moss growing in between our toes, or we're in the air, or we're shooting each other with nukes from across the world.
And to be honest with you, I think we're pretty much, it almost feels like we are in line for another war. And I hate to say it, it feels like it's going to happen.
World War III is, I'd say, within the next 20, 30 years. It's bound to happen. It's more than likely. I think it's going to involve most directly. If not, I'm not sure about North Korea. I don't know. I'd like to hope by then that we've assassinated Kim Jong-un and we're done with it. But I think Russia and China are going to pull some big strings.
See, no one wants to, like, the thing is, Russians would have the biggest advantage again because look what happened in World War II. I mean, granted, technology is a hell of a lot further ahead than it was 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Or
I think it'll purely involve the US, China, and Russia.
Well, see, the US will probably sit it out like they did the last one and come in towards the end and go, hey, we did everything for you, you're welcome.
I mean, we'll come in and show our force. They don't want to come, well, because no nation wants to come at us head on. You can't win. No one can battle us head on. And even if we can't fight head on, we have our allies, which, of course, hey, buddy, UK, one of the strongest armies in the world,
I was going to say, look at the UK army. Like, we fucking held
we've
off.
We've got you as an ally. Yeah.
We're a puny little island. We're the smallest little island. And we're fucking plucky because we held off the Germans for fuck knows how long. Not a single German boot landed on our ground unless they bailed out.
It's a good thing. I'm glad we got the UK as an ally because they are strong.
And I'm glad that I have the Americans as an ally in some respects because I have some of the best friendships with Americans.
Because we got you McDonald's, man.
Fucking right. Oh wait, hang on. Did you say McDonald's?
Hey, we might have threw your tea off the boat, but we never took the McDonald's from your heart.
It's fine. We grew some more afterwards, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, we returned you with McDonald's and French fries. We're sorry.
And all was peace. All was right in the world.
That's what happened. Yeah. Hey, man. Tell your king not to put taxes on us again.
The Queen.
Which we're celebrating that tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, happy Independence Day, by the way.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
No.
Like, or I guess
from me. Yeah, happy Independence Day.
Thank you, sir. I'm not gonna do anything today. I am not going to the family thing.
Say Independence Day, ladies and gentlemen, the day that the Americans finally told the English to get the fuck out.
Yeah, America. America. If Special was here right now, he would have said, America.
He would have just said it, been like, America, man. America.
Yeah, he would have been like, America, man. America.
That's all that kid comes out with. He says, America, man. America.
How long have we been going now?
This one, like, outside of the thing, we've been going about an hour and 4, but, like, in general, I think we've been talking about good shit for like 3 hours.
Well, we should probably wrap this one up in an hour.
What, you want to push for another hour, or wrap it up?
I'm saying call it as an hour now. Yeah,
I'm good for that. I mean, if you want to wrap it up now, we can jump into some stuff of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I call a podcast. That's whenever I say I'm going to do a podcast, this is a podcast to me. It's not a show. It's not organized. There are no segments. There's no BS. There's no, hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the blah, 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 blah show. Hey, we're just going in. We're talking. We're just, there's no, how would you call it? I don't acknowledge that we're recording, basically. Yeah, I don't acknowledge that we're recording. I'm just having a conversation.
Yeah, like it was literally the spur of the moment thing. I thought, you know what, fuck it, we're having such a good conversation.
Every podcast that I listen to on the regular, they're literally just people having a conversation, telling stories.
Yeah, so I like those kinds of things.
I think asylum needs more.
See, this is what I'm looking at. I want to do 2 versions of this. I want to do off the script as it is, the structure, the this, that, you know, like have the nice sort of chat, have the extra segments, that sort of stuff, and then maybe we have the shoot in the shit, which is this. Maybe we do shoot in the shit
this
more
is
often.
What I'll be.
Where,
I'm not structured.
If you guys want to hear more of just me and Elite shooting the shit like we've done here, let me know. Like, we'll literally call this one off the script, shooting the shit. There you go. New sub-series of the podcast. If that's what you want, I mean, I'm down for it, you know?
This is where I'll be, man. I'm not structured. I'm over here I've been playing Black Sabbath albums while I'm talking to you about conspiracies. I literally just put on whole albums and I just been listening to them. I mean, just chilling, man, having a good time.
I'm down for it. Like, I'm good to do this stuff. Like, if we can get the time to do it, I'm down for it. I'm always down for this good shit.
Yeah. All right, folks. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Thank you all for listening. I've been Jay. He's been Elite. This has been Shooting the Shit. Fuck it. Thanks for listening. And we'll catch you later.